Hello and welcome to the 99th Monkey Liberty News for the day, which happens to be Friday, November 8th, 2013. The first news item that I want to address here is GOP moves to impeach Holder. This is from the Universal Seduction. A number of House Republicans are joining in an effort to send Attorney General Eric Holder a pink slip. Well, you could almost look at the date on this article, and it could be, from several years ago, and you'd say, cool. Yeah, this is something that is due, right? I mean, we'll see if it actually happens, but I'm glad that some action is being taken. And here is an article from Blacklisted News. Obama, I am sorry, Americans will lose their existing health plan because of Obamacare. Talk about pink slips. I can't believe that this man is still in office. It's baffling, really, when you consider the information that's come out about him. And yesterday I had that article, 252 Lies and Broken Laws, and so on and so forth. Last night a friend was over, and he had never seen Dreams from My Real Father, and we got it out and played it for him. And really, it's astonishing watching that documentary. That was from over a year ago, and it never really hit mainstream. And the research is so carefully done, so accurate, and the analysis is so astute. But it never crossed over into the mainstream, and I'm, as I said, I'm baffled that more of a general demand has not been made, and specific as well. Somebody actually take action to have this man not be the president anymore. There's just such a body of evidence that he is not qualified, and I don't just mean the birth certificate or who his real father is or any of that. I mean the way he has behaved in office to betray the American people time and again, break his oath to uphold the Constitution. And here is a bit of news of the weird. If you want to do some reading this weekend about something a little off the beaten path, from Philosopher's Stone, Tesla, Optical, Invisibility, and Nazi CIA Antigravity drones. I told you it was news of the weird. Enjoy that. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to try to get a little time to read that. It sounds pretty interesting. Here from Washington's blog, legal experts, even totally innocent people should avoid talking to law enforcement. And the little blurb here, a law school professor and former criminal defense attorney explains why you should never agree to be interviewed by the police. And another article from Blacklisted News, additional NSA whistleblowers said to be emerging. This is the first paragraph. The courage of Edward Snowden is contagious, according to lawyer and transparency advocate Jesselyn Raddick, who says that additional employees at the National Security Agency are now coming forward with what they consider objectionable practices by their employer. And here we have an example of a heroic whistleblower, not from the NSA, but a Navy SEAL veteran, military leaders being asked if they will disarm Americans. And this article is on Oath Keepers that originated on InfoWars, was written by Paul Joseph Watson. So thank you, former Navy SEAL Ben Smith, for warning that the Obama administration is asking top brass in the military if they would be comfortable with disarming U.S. citizens. And I guess a lot of them have said no, because some have been fired. And I'm hoping that they are pooled together and maybe even coming up with some ways to help us have a constitutional republic restored. That is my hope. And I've mentioned things about that. It's all very non-specific and shadowy, but A few different sources have said that something like that might happen. Among them, Karen Hughes and Benjamin Fulford, and something has to change. And I'm guessing at some point there is going to have to be some kind of a confrontation, some kind of a crisis. So it's a good time for us all to be praying, crying out to the Lord for justice, for mercy, for wisdom, just for help in general. For help for the whistleblowers, though, here from Citizens for Legitimate Government, Senate committee approves new whistleblower protection measures. So there is an effort to allow for whistleblowers to be protected. The first sentence in this article is, Senate committee approves new whistleblower protection measures. A new Senate bill authorizing the next year's worth of intelligence operations would force the public disclosure of civilian deaths in drone strikes and add protection for spy sector whistleblowers that are being hailed by advocates. There are some signs that things could change, but one wonders how deep this kind of change is, whether it's lip service or whether it's actually something that can have a positive impact. Speaking of impact, here's some news from the Vatican project about Comet Ison. This article states, Ison comet is disintegrating. An unknown object impacts the C-2012 S1. And there is a video here. So what the Vatican note says, oh dear, Ison is losing its fear-porn value to the evil ones. Too bad, so sad. I was enjoying the fear-pumping efforts that were not working. They can only say Comet or Nibiru to us so many times, right? It's the boy who cried wolf. And when a lot of these things are predicted time and time again, we would have to be pretty foolish to fall for them. I know it still happens. God help us. But I'm hoping that we're beginning to wise up a little. And this was a shocking article. I heard this blurb on InfoWars yesterday. This article is found at End the Lie. Dan Savage, abortion should be mandatory for about 30 years. Would change the world for the better. And that was just an astonishing blurb, and I'm sure you can hear it if you want. That was at a speech where he was on some kind of a panel at Illinois Wesleyan University, and this actually happened in 2007. You know, you think that you're jaded, you can't be surprised anymore, but when I heard him say this, I admit I was surprised. Moving on to some better news. The Activist Post has this article, Breakthrough converts Wi-Fi to electric power as efficiently as solar panels. And this blurb says it's possible to use this design for a lot of different frequencies and types of energy, including vibration and sound energy harvesting. Duke University. So here is certainly, you know, if we can reclaim some of the energy that we're putting into the air and convert it back to electricity that can be this, you know, kind of like recycled electricity, but it's also vibration and sound energy. So I'm wondering if this is akin to or leading into the black box that we hear about that can generate electrical power from natural electromagnetic fields of the earth. So there are so many very, very positive things on the horizon. If we can just get through this time that we're in now and just move to claim our freedom. Alex Jones said this morning there is no lobby for the individual. And a lot of the corporations that are trying to enslave us have so many resources and are able to buy so much influence. It's crucial for each of us to be an ambassador for the truth and for liberty. The burden of communication is upon you, it's upon me, it's upon us as individuals because, as Alex Jones said, there is no lobby for the individual. Nobody's going to pay for us to have our interests promoted. So we need to be very vigilant, very diligent to promote our interests ourselves. And I don't mean our self-interests. I mean our interests as humanity, all of us individuals together. Here is more good news. This is from a website called Rise Earth. Only together can we make a difference. That's pretty appropriate, what I was just saying. 2,500-foot house printed in 20 hours. So this is a 3D printer, and there is a photo here. They actually printed a house. So this is pretty astonishing. It's pretty remarkable and just has tremendous implications for the future. I'd like to see it maybe printed out of something like hempcrete. That would be great. This kind of technology is going to allow for us to really live independently in the future and to have access to have our needs met, our physical needs. Of course, this is going to disempower corporations because we won't need them anymore. We'll have our own technology. We'll have our own means for growing food. We'll have our own means for generating electricity. We'll have our own means, if we have a 3D printer, for obtaining the physical necessities of life. And here's another article about a 3D printer. This is from Activist Post. See the world's first 3D printed metal gun. And this blurb says this is an update to the ongoing progress with 3D printed weapons. So if you're looking forward to a future where you can determine your own way, you can live independently, you can live off the grid, it is coming. We're going to have to fight our way through to it to some extent. And we're going to have to be our own advocates, and we're going to have to be our own lobby, because there's not going to be anybody who stands up. I mean, we might have leaders among freedom fighters, but nobody's paying anybody to do this. No, the big corporations, Monsanto paid $22 million to persuade people in Washington State that they didn't need GMO labeling. We don't have those kind of resources, but we have ourselves. We have our determination. We have our free will. And we have the grace and mercy of God, whose word tells us, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Thanks for tuning in for today's news. Hoping that you have a great weekend, that you love one another, take care, and be your own advocate and insist on liberty.